Hey guys, it's Rebecca. For those of you who don't know me, I am an extraterrestrial contactee, a galactic channeler, psychic medium, and I work in the Akashic Records. And my job is to help you along your spiritual path. So today I'm not channeling a specific collective. I wanted to talk about some things, some unnerving things that I have seen when I have been doing my energy updates for my Patreon. And so normally I don't typically cross share topics. The topics that I share on my Patreon are definitely, a lot of them are not for the faint of heart. They are not topics that I would typically share on social media, and they are also probably topics that wouldn't last long on social media as far as like being banned, not being allowed to be, on social media, because a lot of the topics are darker. It's a lot of the conspiracy theory stuff, a lot of the darker stuff that's occurring on our planet right now. So every month on Patreon, I do a month ahead energy update, and then we go through the year, what that looks like for the rest of the year. So in my March live energy update, something came up about the banks, and it was big. It's directly connected to the dismantling of our financial systems in order to make way for new earth systems of energy exchange. And so I'm going to share some specific details in this video today that I've channeled, psychically channeled. So not like a word for word channel, but psychically tuned into the Akashic Records and the psychic fields. And then also, asking questions to my guides along the way. So you can see that March energy update on my Patreon. This video is not to try and get you to join my Patreon. It's $11 a month if you do want to join. It's basically stuff I can't post on social media. It'll get taken off. I did do a follow-up video this past Wednesday. It's a 20-minute video where I specifically tuned into what I am going to share with you today. So if you want more detail on that, go join my Patreon and support me and get that information. So I am seeing a bank freeze. I am seeing the federal government, I believe, coming in to freeze all banking. And so this creates an inability for big business to operate, and therefore resources are not as readily available. I am seeing this specifically being the most impactful in the United States and North America, but I do see it having an effect across the planet. Why are the banks freezing? Well, I asked that. And it seems to be, what I gathered was that it seems to be a result of some type of disclosure around what the banks have been doing that doesn't feel legal. There's this energy of skimming off the top of, our money, the public's money. And so what I see is there's this big disclosure. It feels like it's on the media. So like big mainstream media reports, then there's this banking shutdown. It doesn't feel like a crash. It feels like funds are frozen. And I asked why. And what they showed me was that the federal government wants to, or an offshoot of the federal government, wants to make it appear as though they're working to support the rights of the public and going, okay, we're not going to let this happen to the public anymore. Nope, we're freezing right now until further notice. We need to see how we can fix this. But the energy around it was very like it's for show, because the federal government is very, very aware and involved in all of this banking stuff. I'm not an expert on banks, trading, stocks, nothing, guys. So, I'm kind of going in with very limited knowledge as far as what they're showing me. Moving further down the timeline, and I'm a lot more detailed with this in my video on Patreon, but moving further down the timeline, it feels like sometime in March, after the equinox, so the 21st of March, it is now the 16th of March. It feels like 2 to 3 weeks where nobody has access to digital money. Like, you can't use a debit card, you can't use a credit card, you can't transfer money or pay for something electronically. And so one of the biggest suggestions here from the guides was to have some cash on hand. Don't panic. Your money is not going to be gone. It is just going to be temporarily inaccessible, and people are going to be accepting, payment through cash. So have some cash on hand if you can. I'm not talking about tens of thousands of dollars, just a little bit of cash to buy the necessities that you might need. Also have some additional water and non-perishable food, so that you don't have to go and battle the grocery stores, because it's this energy of there's not enough. And very, very quickly, what starts to happen in the collective, especially in the Western world, is they realize that there is not enough food, water, medical supplies coming into the country to support everybody. And this is where it gets positive. At this point, what happens is I feel this energy of the collective coming together and going, we cannot rely on these big systems anymore. We can't allow this to happen now or ever again. And the formation of community, conscious community, begins. And this truly is the beginning of New Earth. This is how we start to transform. So even though this event may seem scary to a lot of people, know that, I think it was the Galactic Federation or maybe the Arcturians who said you can't make room unless you make room. We can't make room for new systems to come into place unless we make room for them. We have to clear away that which is no longer supporting us. And so this is energetically a dismantling of a huge piece of old Earth systems that no longer serves the collective. So many of you are asking questions like, what's going to happen to mortgages? What's going to happen to investments? What's going to happen to, bills that we have to pay, electricity, gas? I don't know if you have hydro there in Canada. We have hydro, electricity. It doesn't matter, because this is positive. In the short term, it will be tumultuous. Our job is to hold the light for those who are not able to, for those who haven't woken up yet. Our job is to hold that high vibrational container. So don't panic. There is nothing to be afraid of. The old Earth has to go. And this is part of what it looks like. So be prepared. Respond with curiosity to what occurs, with compassion. Send light to those places of darkness, those places of density. And don't worry about your stuff, because everything happening exactly as it is meant to as far as the ascension path is concerned. I am going to be looking in more detail on my Patreon later today, in a video on some of those more specific questions. What happens to mortgages? What happens to, utility bills, investments, those types of things? Because there have been a lot of questions from the members on my Patreon. I'm going to go answer those over there. But ultimately, my answer is still, it doesn't matter, because when the financial system comes back online, it is not going to be anything like we have historically known. I do reference the quantum financial system in my Patreon video. I'm not going to get into that here, but there is a loose example of that I see arising when these banks come online again. So hang in there, guys. Everything is going to be okay, but I really felt called to make this video so that we could just have that little bit of preparedness. So have some cash, have a little bit of water, a little bit of food extra. I don't see power going out or utilities being shut off. Not with this, potentially in the future, but not with this. So I love you guys. It's going to be okay. Happy Ascension.